Hello again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to your Sunday's Talking Town, the show that's here to react to yesterday's 0-0 draw away at Brighton Hove Albion. Let us know your thoughts and feelings in the live chat. We want to hear from you this afternoon. We'll try and build our show around your opinions, so get them into the chat, and we'll try and feature as many as we possibly can. And of course, there'll be a link for you all to join us, should you so wish to, because who can have your say other than yourself? It's your opinion, so come on the show and have your say. The chat is filling up, which we love to see. And don't forget, we are partnered with SolarWise Roofing and Building Services Limited. Be wise this autumn and winter. Get your roof checked with SolarWise Roofing and Building Services. They do a whole manner of different things. I've got Shane coming to see me very soon, actually, to discuss hopefully a project. So, give them a call. 01206 628 544. Don't let the dialing code 01206 put you off. They cover the whole of East Anglia, Suffolk, Norfolk, and the North. So call 01206 628 544. That's 01206 628 544 for SolarWise Roofing and Building Services Limited. Proud to partner with Talking Town. So moving on, we've got Sharon. It says, having not yet seen the highlights, I'm enjoying everyone's enthusiasm for yesterday's performance. Phil Blundell, who was there yesterday, and he tried to come on the match reaction show, but sadly, the signal was not the best. He may pop on this afternoon. Who knows? There'll be a link, as I said earlier, to join us. He says, good afternoon, Town fans. Great point yesterday. Really enjoyed the trip down to the South Coast. Roll on Southampton. Yes, what a big game that's shaping up to be next Saturday, of course. Away at Southampton. Both sides without a win. Southampton being beaten yesterday by Man United. We're on 2 points. They're on 0. Shaping up to be a tasty affair, that one, isn't it? Really looking forward to it. Darren said, one hell of a point from the boys. Phil confirms he will be clicking the link, so you'll be seeing Phil later on in the show, I'm sure. J Casey 170, difficult game, but a damn good point away from home. That'll do me. Cheers. No, cheers for the comment. J Casey 170, welcome in. Right, joining me as always is the man, the myth, the legend, the man with a contact book deeper than I ever known. It is the one, the only Matthew Phillips. Welcome in. How you doing?
All right, thanks. How are you feeling? You've been poorly all week, haven't you? How are you feeling now?
Not good. I'm going to be brutally honest. No? Not good. Not good. Struggling a little bit. Struggling.
But you love the Talking Town community so much, Martin. The Podfather makes it to the microphone. You've done well. Well done.
Yeah, the Podfather, which makes me laugh because Mrs. L stuck a film on last night that had Daenerys in it from Game of Thrones. Danielle.
Oh, I know you mean. Yeah.
I can't remember her surname or even her first name. Don't even know if it's Danielle.
Yeah.
And it was about a futuristic film, and they had babies, and they were called them pod babies, and it just made me giggle because I just thought of you saying Podfather, and I was thinking, crying out loud. But it was no. Don't watch it if you've not seen it. Count yourselves lucky. It's not very good. But do you feel like with the whole Game of Thrones sort of ensemble of cast, we're now sort of getting into Friends territory where they were really good in that, but then post that, not all of them sort of branched out and did successful. Would that be fair to say? Like Jennifer Aniston was successful, but Joey obviously had his own spin-off, and that didn't really take.
Oh, the character Littlefinger rocked up in Peaky Blinders, didn't he? He was good in that.
He was also in a film I watched last week, which was very good, set in Ireland.
He's done all right. Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. You tend to see them in other things, but then you just think back to Game of Thrones or whatever they was famous in previously. Stereotyped on the cast, I suppose, aren't they?
Yeah. They're type. No, I spot on. Yeah. So anyway, don't watch it. It's not very good. But what was good yesterday?
Thanks, Barry Norman.
Yeah. In a very not a great segue, so apologies. Was a 0-0 draw. Now, normally, Matt, with 0-0 draws, there's not a lot of enthusiasm. There's not a lot of positivity. There's not a lot of talking points coming out of it. But yesterday's 0-0 bucks that trend a little bit because there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of positivity and enthusiasm. First of all, how did you see the overall complexion of the town world coming out of that?
Well, I was celebrating at full time like it was 3 points. That's what it felt like to me. And certainly I'd said, and people had said on the Discord, and I totally agreed with them, I'd take a point before the game had started. It had that kind of vibe to it. Oh, Amelia Clark is the girl from
That's it. Yeah, I'm just saying,
well done, Michael.
Well done, Michael. 3 points. Three Talking Town points.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting nothing in the game, by the way, Michael, but we appreciate it.
But that's what it felt like to me. It felt like It felt like a win, purely because we had managed to survive the onslaught of that first half where we were under so much pressure, weren't we?
Yes, yes, we were.
And then we got to half time at 0-0, probably a little bit lucky to do so, but also, you know, Muric, as I've said here on my little tagline here, Muric to Marvel, win the double save. And we said on the shorts, you know, the short videos we did yesterday post-match, puts all those kind of reservations people had about him, I think, to bed after Manchester City. But then that's the highs and lows of a keeper, isn't it? You know, one week you're making mistakes, next week you're saving us 3 points. I mean, the sooner people get their head around that, the better. And probably he will make mistakes again at some point, and then you'll see another superb display like you saw yesterday. So, I mean, that just is the role of the keeper. And I certainly think we were much more alive to the counter-attack in the second half. I mean, Delap, what a run. It's the post.
Right,
I mean, we'll probably come to that in a minute, won't we? But yes, very hard fought points. Again, I think it showed Ipswich have got that kind of togetherness, as McKenna said post-match, that kind of team spirit, that kind of unified to support each other and survive real problems that we did have in the first half. Because, you know, in the final third, Brighton looked unbelievable. I mean, the American commentary was saying that they thought Brighton could be one of the best possession-based teams in the Premier League. And that's, taking Man City into account. And I was like, kind of scoffed at that. I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. But I think the first half proves that they are really good going forward. And, you know, our defence matched them. So fair play to the town. Well-earned point.
Absolutely. And I know we certainly joked through the summer with Richard about, you know, Brighton, but they are the blueprint in regards to, you know, where town want to aspire to continuously build towards. And I just thought it was very sort of important to start the show taking a wider approach to it as opposed to drilling into the games, because obviously, you know, yesterday, match of the day, they were talking about the promoted sides, haven't yet won yet in the Premier League. And of course, as town fans, you see it on social media, you immediately go, well, hang on. What were you expecting out of? But it's important to recognise, you know, Michael says here, a very good point away at Brighton, a club likely to finish in the top half. Southampton match the 6 point next weekend, a point on Morgan Saints next weekend, still a good result. And you look at the league table, you know, as it stands, Man City are top. We've played those. Liverpool is second. They got a bad result yesterday against Nottingham Forest, but they're second, and they're Liverpool. Yeah, they're second. Brighton are in fourth. They came into yesterday in third. You know, but we sit just outside the relegation zone. Yeah, early days. Don't pay too much interest in that at this point in time. But we're 17th with 2 points, having played those three teams inside the top four and Fulham. What were people sort of expecting at this point? I mean, maybe the most optimistic people would have us a point under at this point because they would have thought we maybe beaten Fulham. I don't know. But 2 points out of those run of games, Matt, is a great start in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And then you can throw Aston Villa in the mix there as well. They're sitting top four at the moment.
Coming up,
we've got them at the end of the month. So, I mean, you know, when you, I think I actually put this on the Discord last night. When you actually look at the start that we've had from the beginning of August right through to the end of September, and then you kick into the autumn fixtures, really difficult. We were still a League One side back in May 2023. So it's been an incredibly hard start. And I think we can all take, you know, real positives about how the team have set themselves out. You know, we had the bump in the road at Manchester City, and there'll be more bumps to go. I mean, look, I say bump in the road. I mean, was it 3 goals, 4 minutes? I mean, that was a bit of a slap around the face a little bit, wasn't it? But that's to be expected against that caliber of opposition. But certainly, I think we've really set ourselves out well so far. I mean, look, we're undefeated in 2. All right, we haven't won a game yet, but we are undefeated in 2. And you do look at Brighton. You do look at Brighton, and that is a side that are going, I think, maybe into their 10th season now in the Premier League, back to back. And you do look at them and think there is a bit of a blueprint there to follow. I mean, certainly I wouldn't want to follow their blueprint off the pitch. I mean, American Express own stadium, American Express on their shirts. That's not for me. That's a bit too
corporate. The modern football, my friend. That's modern football.
We were talking, I was discussing this with a few XFA colleagues in the week, of which Chris Hall was one of them. We were talking about the America World Cup, and everything's going to be like Hard Rock Stadium, or I mean, you would know it, Martin, from the NFL. Everything is very corporate based, isn't it? I mean, and so it disappointed me a little bit. I mean, all you could hear on the TV yesterday was Ipswich Town fans. Fantastic for us, and I said on the short video we did, 10 out of 10 to them. But Brighton, nothing. I mean, have they got into that sense of entitlement now that they just sit there and they think, oh, well, Ipswich rock up and we'll roll them over, we'll beat them 3-0, and that's it. Hope if we do survive this season and we do put a run of seasons together where we are in the Premier League and become a mainstay in the Premier League, like what Brighton have done, that we never lose that kind of what we see at Portman Road, like we saw at Liverpool, like we saw at Fulham. I know it's excitement at the moment, isn't it? Because we're back and we're in the Premier League and it's all new to us. But you don't ever want to lose that, because I think that probably gives you a bit of an edge that might have given Brighton the extra impetus to go on and score against us yesterday. Yeah, they seemed quite a passive fan base to me.
I'll counter that point, though. I will counter that, because obviously over time, I feel that's probably perhaps not of this fan base, because it is a really energized, passionate fan. I mean, just step outside into the content sphere and see how many people create content about the football club, and they aren't all new content creators either that have recently started. And because we're in the Premier League, let's do content on it or whatever. In League One, there was loads of content creators. More than some Premier League teams, it could be argued. So they're a really energized, passionate fan base. But what I would say is, it's a counter that is, I think over time, perhaps it's inevitable. Brighton, 10 years in the Premier League, always been comfortable, had a really aggressive market, but they've only been aggressive in the market because they've been really sensible in previous markets, following the plan that they've all laid out. And it's, each step has been ticked off, and then they've grown and they've grown. I think it's inevitable, isn't it? As a fan base, that you become more, you become, I won't say entitled, that's not the word I would use, but certainly more comfortable knowing that this is a team going in that you should probably beat, because you aren't a relegation bottom. No one's looking at Brighton, for example, Matt, and going, bottom 6 this year for Brighton, definitely.
No, exactly. They obviously recognise what we're doing, and hence they wanted to get McKenna in, and why they've gone for Fabian Hertzler, having done so well at St. Pauli last season. So they obviously recognise the kind of stuff we've been doing. I still think back to Brighton arriving at the FA Cup final when I think it was 83, 84, something like that, on a helicopter. And they used to have the Goldstone ground, and then they had to. I mean, bloody hell, it wasn't that long ago. They were ground sharing with Gillingham, your favourite club, Martin. I mean, we were playing
Gillingham, my favourite club.
Yeah, I suppose a lot of their fan base is just used to the Amex Stadium, wherever it is. They're probably just used to that and the surrounds of that. I mean, it's a lovely little stadium, as Phil says in the comments there. He really enjoyed his trip down there. Yeah, I just hope we don't, if we are to keep this run going in the Premier League, and we can do it over a number of years and follow what they're doing, I just hope we never lose that edge. Look, even Man City fans, like people were saying, was really quiet, weren't they? Again, maybe it's because they're playing us and we're
but then do you get to a certain point, though, Matt, where, you've got a certain section that are your hardcore, passionate, week in, week out fans at places like City. But then you've also got the other side of being that global corporation, that global football sensation, that whatever you want to sort of associate with those teams, in that you're going to get a lot of what people call tourist fans.
Yeah. It's probably inevitable. It probably is. And that, I mean, and that's the conjure you're in, isn't it? You want to be in the top flight. You want to be on TV, on Super Sundays on Sky. You want the packed houses. You want all the things that come with it. And what comes with it is globalization, basically, of the fan base. And you will, and it is a shift away from what you're used to. I still wouldn't swap it for playing bleeding Rochdale, though.
Well, no one would. And the next 4 games are looking really good. I mean, I say good. You've got Southampton obviously away, Villa at home, and Villa inside the top 5 at the moment. West Ham and Everton. So we haven't won yet, as they rightly said on Match of the Day. But I'm going to counter that point, as we've sort of discussed here, with who we've played. But the next 4, they're looking. I mean, West Ham obviously had a good window, but they're sitting mid-table at the moment. Everton, I wouldn't trust them to walk the dog at the moment. They can't hold on to a lead, Matt. They can't hold on to a lead, Matt. They can't hold on to the lead.
That's
Thank you very much. I've worked on that all morning in front of the mirror.
Very good.
Cheers. Villa, I'm hoping are distracted by Champions League bright lights at home to Bayern, and of course Southampton. Russell Martin.
Good old Russell.
Salty FC, as people call him.
Again, they didn't take the chance they had. They could have scored that. Cameron Archer misses the penalty. That would have put them. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the fine lines we're really talking about. And we saw that a little bit with Town yesterday, really, where we were just reduced to kind of counter-attacks. There was one, I think, where, again, we saw it in the Man City game, but Delap kind of broke down the middle. And I think maybe Amari was to his right. A really good pass would have put him through. And he went straight to a Brighton defender. And I remember the commentary saying it's in those moments, because the chances are so few and far between for a club newly promoted like Ipswich. It's when you've got to take your chance. And Russell Martin will be thinking that, and Southampton's fans will be thinking that today. Score that penalty, go 1 up. But they still might have lost 3-1, who knows? But it certainly changes the dynamic slightly, doesn't it?
Yeah. And obviously, now drilling into the actual performance yesterday, there's so many that we'll go through and discuss. But I think we've got to start with the goalkeeper, because obviously Wednesday's match preview show, we discussed the contracts. We discussed the contracts for Walton, we discussed the contracts for Burns, and and Ben Adams, he was skeptical on Muric. He had some question marks and reservations, as I'm sure many other Town fans did, particularly following the debut. Debuts, first impressions matter. And it wasn't the greatest of first impressions.
No.
But I stuck up for him. I've stuck up for him since we signed him, in the sense of I think he'd be a big player for us. And yesterday, Matt, he was huge. That double save. What a save. Commanding of the area. I just thought he was phenomenal, really. Everything we thought we were getting as a goalkeeper. Strong in the box, can play with his feet. Yeah, at times it could have been better, but also had the reflex saves that you need in a top flight goalkeeper. How did you see his performance? Because man of the match for many people yesterday.
Well, yes. And you can also, it's been in the news this week, hasn't it? That there was issues over in Kosovo and he was sent home or whatever. But then McKenna sat down with him and said he had no issues with it. So
Matt, my friend, there's three sides to every story. Your side, their side, and the truth. All right. So,
exactly.
We don't know.
So, I'm glad they've got that sorted out, because like you say, there's been a question mark over him since Manchester City. He was a little bit shaky against Fulham. And then he comes back off an international break with that kind of shadow cast across him. So I'm glad they got that sorted out. And I spoke to Cruncher on the phone last night when he was driving back, and he said in stadium, you could see his distribution wasn't very good, which was weird because we know he's very good with his feet. But look, the shot stopping was fantastic. And don't sleep on the one that he made the other one he made on the first half. Was it from that Belieber who took that shot and he saves it down to his left? Bit of a strong wrist with it. That was a really good save as well, I thought. But yeah, the double save of Jorginho, Rutter and then Matoma, that was just phenomenal. You can see why McKenna said it. That's why we've paid a fee to get him in. Makes those kind of saves. So brilliant. I'm sure Burnley fans were looking at it and thinking that's the Muric that we really liked at the tail end of last season. Again, I know he made mistakes at Burnley, but he was phenomenal. He was easily man of the match for me yesterday. They were phenomenal saves.
Wasn't it against Brighton one of his mistakes for Burnley came?
No, it might have been actually one that goes under his foot.
Yeah.
It might have been.
But yesterday, phenomenal, just phenomenal. Tom says really was at Brighton yesterday. I just thought it was a good way performance. Rode the storm in the first half, and then created so good chance in the second half for a snatch and grab. But was unlucky not to score. Yeah, distribution at times, as I said, could be better. But I think that's to do with the level of the press, the quality of the opposition, and Brighton really are a team in certainly how they play, just a few years ahead of where we want to be.
Yes.
In their press, their style, everything, which is why McKenna was almost a ready-made man for them.
Yeah,
because
that's why he was identified, wasn't it? Now you talk about the press. I thought we pressed very well from the top. We always say, don't we? Where's the defence start? Right in the final third, the top third, the offensive third of it. We pressed very well at that four. So you had Amari in there, Smodics in there, Delap and Burns. How many times did Brighton try and play out from Verbruggen in goal to their defence? They had that Van Hecker, didn't they? There, and then they had to keep passing back to the keeper. So I thought we pressed very well. It was only when they did eventually get through the lines and over the halfway line, which is how you saw that passage of play that saw Rutter and then Matoma have that chance that Muric makes the double save on. They looked very dangerous in that final third. I thought in the first half though we pressed very well from the top, considering they had 76 possession or something. The amount of times I went back to the keeper to have to start again. So I thought that was I think Ipswich defended well, like I say, right from our number 9. Yeah,
I agree. Particularly when you consider that McKenna's not had the whole group available to him on the training pitch since the window closed. This will be the first real week where he's got everybody available to work on things that are important, like your shape when you've got the ball or shape when you haven't got the ball. So yeah, I completely agree. I thought our press and our shape, particularly when we didn't have the ball, was really good. And there were moments in the game where it felt like it was, not only were you playing in Brighton, but it felt like it was wave after wave after wave after wave of, attack. That's what it felt like at times, wasn't it? The
halftime stats, I think their passing was 267 passes they'd made. Brighton, we was 82. Bloody hell, we were doing that within the first 5 minutes of the championship, weren't we? Such was our domination, and now we're on the end of it. I mean, it was interesting, wasn't it? The team selection. I mean, look, we kind of floated out there. Had we lost faith in Burns's body a little bit, I'll say. The fact he's had 2 hamstrings.
Well, you might have done. I haven't.
Yeah, over the last 6 months. In comes Benny. They haven't paid small change for Benny. Paid £8 million. So it was interesting that Wes came. Yeah, so it was interesting to see Wes came straight back into the side yesterday, and then of course Wolfenden, who was Rich said to me was there at the stadium. He was on the pitch for the side. And in comes Dara O'Shea. So that was interesting, that wasn't it? Was that done tactically? Did they want to give Wolfenden a rest? You've paid a lot of money to get Dara O'Shea in, like a Benny, an Irish international, someone who's captained in the Premier League, I think, with West Bromwich Albion. So he was West Bromwich Albion captain, wasn't he? And was a mainstay in Burnley's Premier League side last season. And suddenly he gets the nod for yesterday. So be interesting to see what they go with at Southampton. But I thought O'Shea and Greaves was a very good partnership. I didn't like the O'Shea-Burgess partnership at Wimbledon. I thought it was appalling. No. Again, two players new to each other. But O'Shea and Burgess looked good. But then we thought Wolfenden and Burgess looked good as well, didn't we? So, and we thought
Wolfie and Greaves looked good. I was only 10 days ago, I was raving about this partnership. I just wonder, when McKenna arrived, you remember he was very keen, very. He looked at every game in its own merits, and he would select a side tactically how he felt could best exploit the weakness of the opposition. Then, of course, we sort of stumbled, and then he went away from it. And we had that huge run that got us promoted. And then last season, again, he sort of stuck with that. We're going to go with what's working as opposed to the, continuously changing the front line or wherever. I just wonder, maybe, are we going, or is he starting to move back towards tactically, what are they weak at? Who's my best players at their weakness? And maybe we're going to see that slight changes again week on week. Do you feel where you've got maybe, 1 week their centre forwards, it doesn't match up well with Wolfie, so you see O'Shea, or maybe 1 week you see Bene, whose attributes match up better against their fullback than Wes Burns, and you sort of see those changes that we saw at the start of McKenna's tenure here at the club. Do you feel that maybe that's where we're sort of headed?
I think we probably will. Yeah, just from the nature of the Premier League and the calibre of play, I think we will see that. Well, we saw it in pockets in the Championship, didn't we? When Edmondson would get these kind of random nods to play, wouldn't he? Be it against, I don't know, Hull's one, was it? Plymouth was one. Yeah. West Bromwich Albion, I seem to recall, was another. I don't know if there was injuries there. I can't remember now. But yes, and I think so. I mean, he's got such a big squad, and he's got players that are used to playing first-team football, like O'Shea, used to captaining clubs, like O'Shea. He's got to give these lads minutes. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, look, Harp says Brighton was excellent, didn't give us a moment's peace. Our middle struggled. I mean, it didn't help that Morsey was given what I thought was quite a harsh yellow early doors again. I was saying to Richard on the phone, I mean, he got one early doors against Fulham, didn't he? Was it 5 minutes? I think yesterday was after 6 minutes. That wasn't a yellow for me particularly. I thought that was a bit harsh from the referee, but then that puts him on tenterhooks for the rest of the game. And I think, maybe he can't have the impact because he hasn't got that chance again, has he? I mean, arguably he could have got sent off when he fouls that kid on the edge of the box. Encino, was it right at the end, at the death of the game when he got that free kick? I mean, they eventually sub him, don't they? Because they knew. Well, they sub him in the end because they know what's coming. One more foul, and he's gone, and you lose him for Southampton. So it made sense to do that. It was a bit of a debate, I think, on Discord this morning where people were saying, could we see Morsey move out of the side at some point? Don't know about that. I mean, like I say, he was having to walk a tightrope yesterday because he's on a yellow for 85 minutes. So it changes the dynamic up a little bit. It was interesting they brought on Luongo, wasn't it, when they did sub him yesterday? He didn't see Cahoos.
Yeah,
I mean, Luongo was probably maybe a safer pair of hands, maybe to play the role they wanted him to. But yeah,
I was very surprised at that. I thought we'd see Cahoos at that point. Then Massimo, but obviously Massimo's got a lot of trust, or McKay's got a lot of trust in Massimo. Yeah. And at 0-0,
it goes back to the question, though, doesn't it? Are you going to see rotation of players? Will we see the rotation of the midfield? Maybe. I mean, look, Cahoos doesn't come here to sit on the bench. He's a Swedish international who's been playing for Napoli in Serie A, who's come to play games. I mean, look, it certainly feels like Phillips is going to be the mainstay, doesn't it? And I'd imagine Morsey as well. But I do feel like Morsey is going to pick something up, a red card at some point. Certainly he's going to have a suspension sooner rather than later, isn't he? What's he on? How many yellows is he now? 3, 4?
3. I think it's 3. Could be 4, but that's part of his game. We knew that coming in.
Every game other than Liverpool, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, I was worried though when he fires that kid on the edge of the box. I was thinking, oh bloody hell.
I thought we all were, particularly early in the game, particularly early, as early as it was in the game. And I didn't think it was a yellow card for me. I thought that could have warranted a warning. I don't think he'd had any, previous before that inside how many minutes.
Not even that bad a tackle. I don't think we've seen worse than that, haven't we, all season?
And you probably saw worse as the game unfolded. But it was given, and I can see where people would say the midfield perhaps got overwhelmed at times, but I also counteract that with tactically how we press makes that look the case a lot of times, because we press as a 4, our centre forward and our 3 behind, but once you beat that press as Brighton can do and other teams in the Premier League can do, you then look like your midfield 2 are overwhelmed because suddenly the numbers are on them, the space is there to exploit, and it looks like you're losing that battle a little bit. So at times it would have looked like that, but I think tactically that's why. I don't think either player was overwhelmed. I thought, in fact, Phillips again grew into the game. There's a comment in the chat here, sort of echoing those thoughts. Where is it, Michael? Phillips looks as if he is growing into his midfield role. I thought yesterday, again, similar to Fulham, the longer the game went on, the better he got. In all honesty,
and so he should. He's a £45 million player, England Player of the Year in 2021.
Many years, in 2021 he was. But he's arrived at Ipswich Town, a newly promoted side for a reason. Let's be honest, and it isn't because he loves, tractors or living in the countryside, agriculture, or living in the countryside. But you know what I mean? Like, he's arrived at Ipswich Town, a newly promoted side for a reason. So you say so he should. Yeah, absolutely. You want him to be that player. But he's becoming that player and he's growing, and that's so exciting as a Town fan, but also for him as his career.
Exactly. I mean, hopefully he'll continue on that trajectory. Look, we're only 4 games in. There's 34 to go. Whole season ahead of us still. And as we said, if he can get back to that caliber of player that we know he can be, certainly that Leeds era player, then absolutely fantastic. But yeah, look, there's lots of question marks around the team. I think, Morsey being one of them, because when he does get suspended and he has to sit out, it'd be interesting to see if he comes straight back in. You don't want to get into a comfort zone where players are just being picked on reputation and stuff. Some games might suit a Houston Phillips moving forward. Don't know. Be interesting. But I think what you would lose with Morsey is that kind of like as you said before, he's the talisman. He's the engine room. He's the driver. He's the motivator. He's McKenna's eyes and ears on the pitch. I mean, he's just fantastic. And again, that'll be when he does move on from Ipswich, sooner rather than later, everyone, and get used to that, because he's in the twilight of his career. That's someone we've got to try and we've got to replace, quite quickly.
Yeah, we've got a few Brighton fans in the chat, which is brilliant to see. Everyone's welcome here. So, whatever your opinion, whatever your club, get your comments in. So absolutely welcome.
Been ghosted. The geezer who's been on here a few times.
No,
he said he would keep a clean sheet, didn't he? In the week.
Yeah, he did. No, Goldstone's obviously busy this morning. We've got Tim and I think a couple of others. The chat's really going busy, but I can see it, and we welcome everybody in. We've got Paul that says, don't think any player who fails to perform will stay on the side, whoever they are. Survival this season is the name of the game. No room for sentiment. Yes, but I don't think it's. I see Morsey being in the side unless he's injured or suspended for the whole season, because
it does.
It's the heartbeat of the team.
Yes. Yeah, I do agree.
Those sorts of things always feel like in summer changes when you start to transition away.
Not mid-season in the Premier League. No, I agree with you.
Yeah, not like in some random January or whatever, like or whatever. He's the heartbeat. I don't know. I just can't see a team without Sam Morsey in it, which I know at some point I'm going to have to. But
it'd be very interesting to see who does.
And I don't know why we're talking about it either, because I think he played well yesterday. Yes, he was on a booking. Obviously, it tells some of his ability in there because he's on a booking. I thought he played well yesterday, so I'm not sure why it's a conversation.
Absolutely, yeah. Be very interesting to see when he does get suspended, who will captain the side. Presumably, it'll be Phillips. I would have thought. But...
No, I wouldn't have thought this early. I mean, if Massimo comes in for him, is it Massimo? Wolfie had it at Wimbledon, didn't he? So if
Chaplin, he was.
Chaplin, thank you. Apologies. Doesn't matter really, because Wolfie and neither are playing. So.
You talk about sentiment with Connor. He's not getting a look in at the moment, is he?
Yeah, that is surprising me a little bit more, just because he had a great season last year. Amari was here last year, so you obviously found room for Burns, Amari, and Connor last year. We had Burns out injured, so that has surprised me a little bit. But then, of course, it shouldn't, because you look around the squad options now, and I don't mean any disrespect to the players that left, but the players that are here are so much better that it perhaps shouldn't surprise you. And obviously, Murray now is our player, and you're now developing your player for you, as opposed to developing that player for someone else.
What was the take on Amari's performance yesterday from everybody? What did they in the post match? Was anyone talking about that?
He wasn't mentioned much, and he's not mentioned much in the chat. What was, before we go into Axel, who was, I know you've been raving about since he arrived, so I'm sure you want to sort of discuss his fantastic performance yesterday. But what was your take on Amari's? I
just had a few people text me and stuff saying, "Oh, Amari was holding on to the ball for a little bit too long," or he was trying to beat one man too many. I mean, look, he's still a young player, isn't he? I mean, wasn't that long ago when he arrives on loan from Chelsea? I mean, going, bloody hell, he's a raw talent. And then you saw the kind of arc of his improvement, the progress he made under McKenna. He's back to square one a little bit, really, isn't he? He's kind of starting again, because now he's got to show that arc again in the Premier League. But, I mean, he was phenomenal against Fulham, I thought.
Phenomenal. You said phenomenal?
Against Fulham?
Yeah. I can't remember that far back. It's a genuine question.
Yeah. No, he was fantastic. I mean, he has that shot right at the end, doesn't he? That the keeper made a good save and got pushed out against Fulham, I think, and Smodics was very unlucky not to get there. He just seemed to relish that game against Fulham. We talk about the atmosphere, the packed house. He was given space to get onto the ball. It was a little bit more difficult for him yesterday, I think. He didn't have that space. Got battered a lot by their midfield, didn't he? He spent a lot of time on the floor with like aches and pains and stuff. It's just interesting, really, because I think Clark is now on the periphery of starting games, isn't he? I mean, again, he comes on as a cameo yesterday. He looked really good. So someone obviously in that four will have to move out to accommodate Jack Clark playing on the left-hand side. It'd be interesting to see who that might be. Because you had Smodics we saw Smodics play left side, didn't we, against England a little bit in that international game. And then if you look at his heat map yesterday, he spent the majority of his time on that side with Amari in that 10 role, I think. But you're going to bring Clark in, someone has to go to the bench. So be interesting to see.
Are you getting the production from the 10 at the moment? That's another question on that. Because obviously Amari is a young player developing, but are you currently getting the production you thought you'd get or need at the moment from that 10? Well, that's not me saying it is or isn't. I'm just asking you the question.
No, I get that. I mean, look, Murray had a very good chance himself yesterday. I mean, he goes on a similar Delap style run, doesn't he? Across 60 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
By the time he gets to that left-hand side of the box, he's knackered. It's a bit of a tame shot, I suppose. But I don't know if you can judge, really, the production of a 10 in a game against someone like Brighton, because you're so much on the back foot, as we say. It was, 75-25 possession-wise in that first half yesterday. You're really kind of reduced to what we had in the second half of counter-attacks. So I think the production of someone playing the 10 role away from home is very much different to when you get on the front foot against Fulham, as we saw Amari the other week for the international break, where he's got movement, he feels confident, he's having shots from the edge of the box. So I think the roles are different home and away, really. But I mean, look, what was that? Did I say earlier 82 passes in the first half? And we weren't having a look in at all, were we? And we were just reduced to counter-attacks in the second half. And so it was. It'd be interesting to see who plays that role at Southampton next week in a game. It's not. They think we're just going to go there and roll them over. That's actually a really good test to see if we are better than them. Look, we beat them home and away last season. It was quite a close game, I seem to recall, some areas, wasn't it? Again, Murray scores in that game, the 1-0.
Yeah, the back.
It'll be interesting to see how we fare, having played kind of the cream of the Premier League, a Liverpool, Man City, and then people that are pretenders to getting into Europe, like a Brighton. Let's see how we actually get against a team that hasn't won a game yet. Be interested in that.
We're getting stick in the chat from our Brighton fan. Tim says, no, I'm countering the rubbish talked by these two about the Albion support and atmosphere.
All right,
about the Albion support and atmosphere.
Go and watch your Brighton podcast, mate. You don't have to stick here. This is Ipswich Town podcast. And if we think you're corporate sellouts with your American Express stuff, then deal with it.
Again, He did. I didn't say nothing.
All right, let's ask everyone. Let's do a poll, mate. Ask everyone in the chat. Anyone think the Brighton fans were rubbish yesterday? Vote yes.
They need a poll for that. The chat is well and truly sort
People
of.
Don't like the truth, do they? Look, we've come from the Football League, yeah? You've all sat in your Premier League now for 10 years in your little entitled world. We've come from the Football League where people are a little bit more passionate about their fan bases and we're not corporate sellouts. So if you can't deal with it, then so be it.
Oh, I'm laughing because the Essex came out there. The Essex came out. Look, listen, you can't deal with it.
They can't, like, can they? Truth hurts. I mean, look, they're not being shy and coming forward saying, "Oh, you're like that Goldson Ghost bloke. Oh, you got a championship team. You won't keep a clean sheet at the Amex." Oh well, we did.
No, people can't handle the truth, but I think the truth yesterday was the atmosphere was good. We were just louder, and we certainly came across.
Once again, the town away support creates the atmosphere. They were 10 out of 10. Fantastic.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I completely agree with that. Got comments will come through just a second. The link's been dropped. We've got a couple of people I'm going to bring in on the other side, but it is half time. Don't forget, we are partnered with Match Bingo. Play Match Bingo, win cash prizes. You download Match Bingo through your app store. So that's on App Store for your iPhone, obviously. And then whatever other devices. I mean, I always get confused with these devices, Matt. Like, what's an Android or a Google or whatever? I mean, like, literally, if you've got a phone.
Android is Google, isn't it? Yeah.
Cheers. Right. See, I've always had an iPhone. Only ever had an iPhone. I once had an Android. It lasted 20 minutes in my pocket, screen cracked, and that was it.
Well, you dropped it.
I must have done. Yeah,
look,
it is me.
Look, your devices are cracked, aren't they?
Yeah, because I'm not very lucky. But you could have some luck if you play Match Bingo. So go to your app store, whichever one it is, download Match Bingo. And every time you play Match Bingo, you are supporting the crucial work of the East Anglian Air Ambulance, which I'm sure we could all agree is an absolutely crucial service. So play Match Bingo, win cash prizes, support the crucial work of the East Anglian Air Ambulance. But please be gamble aware, over 18s only. Mike Salmons, as it is halftime, like and subscribe. What they got to do at home, Matt? Because apparently they seem to like you telling them. Because from you tell them, they do it. So I mean, you know,
I'll bring the authority. Clearly, yeah. If you're enjoying this content and you're not a Brighton fan,
because if you're not a Brighton fan, please do. I mean, you know,
yeah. Well, no. Go and watch your own shows, boys. Hit that like and subscribe buttons. Come on, all you got to do. You're sitting there, you're watching it. I don't know if you're watching it on your phone, your iPad, your laptop, your TV. Just hit the like and subscribe. Easy. If you're enjoying the content.
And if you are a Brighton fan, do it and come and join us next week. We can once again, obviously trigger him. So, trigger him week on, week out. He's here every week. You can come. Feel free to come.
They're named after a credit card. We're not.
Yet.
Ain't gonna happen to Pullman Road, is it?
It's coming.
Very difficult to name a new stadium, an old stadium, isn't it, as opposed to a new one?
Welcome to the Capital One Portman Road Stadium.
Could you imagine? I'd go mental. I'd hate that.
People would still call it Portman Road, though, wouldn't they? They'd still call it Portman Road, but it just would be on the old Match of the Day graphics, etc. The Capital One or the
exactly. American sports
Vista Print Portman Road Stadium.
Yeah, American sports lends itself to all that, though, doesn't it? Like as we said earlier, you're going to see it in the World Cup, and you see it in the NFL, and you see it in Major League Baseball, like the Dunkin' Donuts Dome. It's like something out of
Dunkin' Donuts Dome. Mike Salmon's socks. Murray lacking confidence first half. Clearly got a rocket at half time. It came out much better. Like all the team transitioning to the Prem. Roy says Murray didn't get involved enough for me apart from his run, but shot was weak. Skyline, a great point. We will not get a lot of possession to create chances away this season. Home form will decide our fates. This is a bonus. Delap crucial in away games to give us threat. And Nathan, go on.
I was going to say, this is the problem we've got, actually. I think if there's one negative to come out of yesterday is we do look a little bit toothless away from home. And, it was great to see Hurst come back on yesterday, but there's still a question mark over whether he's going to be Premier League quality. Certainly Delap is growing into the role, isn't it? I mean, he scores the great goal against Fulham. Very unlucky not to score yesterday. That was a great run. I mean, it was a bulldozing run again, wasn't it? I just wish we had another body in there, like an Ioannidis or somebody that gives you that little bit of quality, top. It doesn't have to be Premier League quality, top flight quality, international quality to call upon, because other than the Spodix goal at Manchester City, I mean, we've pretty much been on the back foot most of the time, haven't we? In the 2 away games.
Yep. Great comments coming in. Tim says, by the way, the official name for the ground is the Community Stadium. And that tells you all you need to know.
Oh, yeah, because Sky always calls it a community stadium, don't they?
Look at this, look. If you're tuning in Talking Town, you're now watching Matt versus Tim. Tim versus Matt. Tim, there's a link there, mate. If you want to come on to debating, please feel free. We've not had this sort of level of a debate in a long time. In a long time.
It's not for me.
I'm loving it. I'm loving the Matt fighting like just a name on a screen. It's just like Twitter, but in visual representation.
I just think it looks crap. I mean, who at the Ipswich fan base would want to walk around with American Express on their shirt? I mean, you can't, a lot of shops don't even take American Express, don't they? I know we don't take Amex.
No, that's true. Great comment here about Axel. So I'll bring in Joseph at this point. Texas Tractor Boy, I feel Twinzabi was man of the match, completely shut down their winger. Joseph, welcome back. Good to see you again.
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Certainly can. How are you?
How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, good. I got a mic and a setup this time.
Excellent. Absolutely beautiful. Talk to me about Axel, because Texas says, I feel Twinzabi was man of the match, completely shut down the winger. How did you see his performance yesterday?
I think that's probably the best we've seen him in a Town shirt so far. But I don't think it was anything too out of the ordinary, to be honest. I think he usually puts in a very decent performance. He's really good one-on-one. So I wouldn't sit there and go, oh my God. But it definitely was his best performance in the Town shirt. But I don't think it's much out of the ordinary of what we see of him, to be honest.
Matt, I know you're a big Axel fan. Build on Joseph's thoughts there.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was kind of, Hertzler himself said that Matoma struggled against a big, pacey defender in Axel, which is brilliant. So you then start getting, the question mark, don't you, around, is Ben Johnson going to get that role back? Because he's been brought in to play that role. And then, of course, you still got Harry Clark recovering from injury, the Achilles operations that he's had. But it seems like it's Axel's shirt at the moment. I mean, he's a phenomenal defender. I mean, and the only reason we got him is because he fell on hard times through injuries and was released at United. But the reason he was at United was because he's absolutely top quality. And his career now is moving along a bit, isn't he? Now, he seems to be a bit of a mainstay for us. He's now representing Congo on international breaks, and we'll lose him for when they have that African Cup of Nations. It seems like he's going to be a shoo-in for that side. Yeah, he was really good. It's going to be tough, I think, for Johnson to try and get that shirt back. But again, when you talk about opposition and the threats that they bring, maybe Johnson would be better suited in some games. We'll just have to wait and see what McKenna says.
I don't think he gets back in, to be honest, Johnson, unless there's an injury.
Yeah, you might be. Certainly, what I've seen. Look, we've got a bit more of an affinity to Axel, haven't we? Because Johnson's a new player, but certainly there's been a little bit of a question mark about Johnson moving forward for me. And I just think Axel is, obviously he's not that gifted going forward, I guess, but he's just such a unit. I mean, as Crunch said to me on the phone yesterday, it's almost like he gives the defenders a chance to try and get the ball, and then he just accelerates past, because that Matoma isn't slow, is he? But Axel just dealt with him quite comfortably, and it was great that Hertzler recognised that, because that Matoma was decent. I mean, he had a really good season last season for Brighton. I really rate him. And the other kid on the other side, Minter, is it? The Gambian lad? Both really good, two really good wingers, I think.
But the thing with Axel is it's all about reading the game. You can have pace for days if you're 2-3 steps ahead of any winger, because you're reading the game much better than they are, or you're reading them because you've played against a lot of players, who know how to go left, go right, etc. That's where Axel and the same with Phillips in midfield, Joseph. That's where these players really become, the elite players and the great players. And Axel's played at Man United for a reason, because they read the game like it's a children's book, and it's easy as ABC, right? And that's what Axel did yesterday. He just read the winger every time.
Yeah, or I mean, almost every time. I don't think he really could have put in a better performance against Matoma, because, I mean, how many times have you watched Match of the Day? Oh, too fair, I don't know if you guys even watch Match of the Day anymore.
Yeah.
Before it was in the Prem. But last season, I watched Match of the Day every weekend, and he would just skin.
He was good, wasn't he?
Top class defenders, like proper decent defenders. He'd just skin them. So,
what did you think of O'Shea yesterday, Joseph? Were you surprised to see him in the side? Were you surprised to see Wolfenden not even feature in the squad? It was a bit. I was.
I saw an interesting comment that last year Wolf really struggled against Rutter. So I don't know, probably not.
Yeah, we all did at Ellen Road.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
sure. But he is faster, O'Shea. He's a lot faster. So maybe we were just, I don't know. I thought he played really well. I didn't think he did much wrong at all either. I think when he's fully been Kieran McKenna'd, then
like that,
he'll be a very, very decent centre back. And to be fair, Wolfenden behind him isn't exactly a bad backup choice either.
So you've now escalated O'Shea to the starting berth, have you, on that right side?
For now,
he play games, doesn't he?
We spent money on him. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think he would have come to Ipswich if he was not going to be playing games regularly. I mean, he was linked to Wolves, I think. Chris Hall told me that.
That fell through, I think. Yeah,
it fell through. Brentford, I think he was linked to as well. So I mean, there was people there. So he's certainly come to play. If he ain't playing games, he ain't going to be playing for Ireland. So I mean, he's got his own agenda to look after as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Joseph. Before I let you go, because I've got other people I need to bring in. Who was your man of the match yesterday, and why were they your man of the match?
My man of the match was probably Axel. I just think Matoma got nothing down that side, and we couldn't really have asked him to do any more. So definitely Axel, and then Muric close behind.
I think they were the two standouts. Before you go, Joseph, just looking over your right shoulder, is that a drum kit?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm a music producer, so I've got you can't see it, but speakers and
nice. It's the setup that, like that.
Nice. Well, he's a singer.
Yeah, singer. We could record a Talking Town theme tune.
Oh, look, here we go.
Yeah. They're literally, Matt, you can write the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
Dennis Waterman style.
Yeah.
What was that show?
That was Little Britain, wasn't it? Where they did.
Yes, that's right. Williams and Matt Lucas. Yeah.
And then obviously he was in. Sorry, Joseph. He was in. Was it Old Tricks, New Tricks, the detective show where he sang the theme tune?
That's it. Yeah.
So it was right. Anyway, Joseph.
Well. I'm going off for the tank.
Thanks for coming on, Joseph. It's really good. And hopefully now you've got your setup all sorted.
Yeah, I know.
Again soon.
Yeah, for sure. I was at home back in Suffolk last time, but now unfortunately I live in Leeds because I'm at uni.
Well.
So
as Sarmiento said, who put the L in Ennon Road?
That's a hall of residence room, is it? Is that what this is?
No, it's a house.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Spacious.
It is really big.
You need to set up like that, Marty. Stuck in a spare room like that.
Yeah. All right. Cheers. Anyway, Joseph, nice
Joseph.
to see you.
Thank you.
Again very soon. Thank you ever so much. LJ Johnson was being played a little further forward than his natural position because of Burns' injury. Be fair, but agreed. Axel's class yesterday. His shirt to lose.
I don't think that's Johnson's natural thing. I do agree with that. Like there was a question mark about him moving forward. That said, of course, he did score goals for West Ham in more attacking position. So I don't know. Maybe we haven't seen enough of him yet. And it just feels that Axel. We've got more history of Axel, and it feels like he's the safer pair of hands, I guess.
All right, loving the comments coming in. Keep the Talk of Sound conversation on the football in the chat. Play nicely. I'm going to bring in Optimistic Phil, and I'm going to start by asking Phil a question we've got in the chat that's been posed to us too. But I'm going to ask Phil. It says, "Morning, chaps. Do you think Jack Clark will start at home? We have more of the ball and Schmodic's away. Let's remember we've only played City in a decent Brighton side on the road thus far." That's the question, Phil. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are that I think Jack Tail and Broadhead will rotate in that left-hand forward line role, if I'm being honest.
You mean,
Jack Clark and Broadhead. For me, I think if you write down the positions of each player that play in, I would have obviously Delap and Hurst number 9, Brody and Clark on the left-hand side. You've got Burns and Ogbenny in that right-hand role, and then you've got Omari and Smodics probably rotating in that number 10 role, just behind Hurst and Delap, if I'm being honest, is what I think. It's what I feel what McKenna will probably do as the season progresses.
Forgot about Broadhead.
Yeah.
Be like a new signing when he comes back.
Yeah.
It's a good shout. It's some really credible options now, and you're right. It will obviously free up Sammy to come inside and be that number 10 and you've got Chaplin as well. Some great options. But you were there yesterday. Sadly, we couldn't see or hear rather your post-game thoughts because the signal wasn't great. But
it wasn't.
Now. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. I think Brighton will do very well this season. I think it's a testament to us in one of the opening games of a season that we've not played in for more than 20 years, to go to a place like Brighton with all those quality players, and they do have some really good quality and strength in their team. I think my only real criticism about the way that Brighton play, and obviously there are a lot of teams in the Premier League that do play this kind of slow possession build-up type of football, is that when you look at the likes of Liverpool, and I'm not comparing us to Liverpool because there's far better team than we are at the moment, is that Liverpool are quick, they're fast with possession of the ball and in attack. Brighton didn't do that enough for me yesterday, and I think that's probably why they didn't score. I think if they'd had that decisiveness up front, which I think they thought they lacked somewhat at times, especially in the second half, that they would have scored. And we didn't play all that well in the first half. I thought after the first 10-15 minutes, I thought, oh God, this could be sort of 3 or 4-0 Brighton by half time. And I was just kind of sort of relieved to get to half time at goalless. And then I thought from then on, we do usually come out second half and improve upon what we've done in the first half, and that kind of proved to be yesterday. Delap was really unlucky not to score yesterday. I think that he was just stretching for the ball. I think the angle that he was at didn't really help him as much. But
two to the right side, wasn't he? Yeah,
yeah, right side. And look, I'll say it again. For me, well, I said it in pre-season. I said, Amari has to be our first signing of this coming season, and I think that he will get goals for us. He will get off the mark at some point for me if he carries on playing the way he does. I think yesterday also in midfield, I feel that we missed Cayusta quite a bit in the first half. I think if he'd played with Phillips, or I don't know how McKenna's going to do it, whether he's going to just stick with Morsey and then rotate Phillips and Cayusta in that central midfield role. But I just felt that we just needed a bit more strength and stability in that midfield in the first half. I think if we'd had that, I'm saying we may have got 1 or 2 chances, better chance in the first half to grab a goal.
Morsey was shackled though, wasn't he, Phil? Because he gets the yellow early doors.
Yeah, I think that's
isn't it, a little bit.
Yeah, it's his Achilles heel, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, but he manages it so well. How many times has he been booked in the first half of games that we've seen him in, and then he's just managed the second half? There's this. I'm saying he's developed his game to a point where he can be aggressive. He can, get in the face of opposition players and get that yellow card like he, usually does, and then sort of manages the game out, which I think, I'm saying it just shows for me in that midfield role. It just kind of adds to his kind of leadership, his captaincy for me. And we all know, what Morsey's like. He gives us all for the team, and it does show.
The only way round it, I suppose, it was your idea, Mike, that they could play 3 central midfielders, but obviously that would be a slight change to the tactics. But
it was. I'm saying I'm saying McKenna did that at Wimbledon, and I'm saying I went to Wimbledon and watched that, and we just seem to struggle against teams who play a low block and then pack the midfield, and we saw it at West Brom last season. I know it's a different team to the one we've got now, but even against them. I'm saying he started with Hamadi and Chaplin up front in the Wimbledon game, and for me, Chaplin's not really a number 9. He's more of a number 10. He's a sort of player that he loves playing behind that number 9, and playing a 3-5-2 the way we did against Wimbledon I feel as though that it doesn't really suit us as well as the formation that McKenna usually plays. If I'm being honest, I'm saying. We can play that way. We can play that way and score goals, but I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if he really needs to switch to that formation when we come up against a team like, I don't know, like maybe Tottenham or Chelsea or Wolverhampton or Newcastle, etc. If I'm being brutally honest, I'm going to say. I think that we'll improve as the season goes on. There's no doubt in my mind that already this season I've been impressed with the way that we've defended in the games that we've played. And yesterday was I'm gonna say the Fulham game, yes. Yesterday, absolutely, yeah, more so.
Have you got one last thing for me before I bring in Colin?
it's more about the trip that I had down to the stadium yesterday. I mean, so when I got a lift with a friend in the car, and now I think about it, perhaps maybe should have gone by train or shouldn't have gone by train, because after the game, those of you guys who have not been to the community stadium down at Brighton before, is that there is a rail station right outside the ground.
Amex Stadium, Phil.
Yeah,
Amex.
and there's a massive gantry where they were absolutely rammed trying to queue to get onto the platform for the train home, and I think the town fans were mixed in with that, and they were trying to stick the knife in a little bit with the Brighton fans.
Crunch was saying to me you can't park at the stadium then because you have to do your park or ride it or
no,
the train,
that's rubbish. No, there's a big car park. God, I mean, so there's a sporting complex I think that belongs to the university.
Oh, okay.
And there is a big car park, but when me and my friend Lee asked the parking attendants, I said, can we park here? He said yes, but you have to book, and I think it's charges like £15. There is a car park there. There's a lot of supporters that do use it. It's quite big enough, I'd say. A few hundred spaces.
You could have this at Pullman Road soon, Martin, when the old aquatic centre's built. 15 quid.
Absolutely.
I think the council. I must say, on another note, the council, they're ripping the people off of Ipswich big time, and it's not fair.
Imagine my shock.
Yeah.
Imagine my shock.
I don't think I would have paid £15 to pay in the car park, and I don't think I would have got a train ticket down to Brighton because, afterwards that gantry and that platform was absolutely rammed, and it was. I'm saying it's a really big one too. It kind of sort of slopes up as you go in, but look, I enjoyed the trip down to South Coast. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to all these new stadiums. I'm off to Southampton next week. I've already been to Southampton. I was there in the first season.
Bring back 3 points, Phil.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that one.
And I'm sure we'll speak to you next week.
Russell Martin is under serious pressure right now.
Yes, and I know. I saw you posted that in the chat earlier. But Phil, appreciate your thoughts as always. Thanks for coming on the show. Have a great Sunday afternoon. Paul says, great to get a wee shout out again. Really solid, in my honest opinion.
Yes.
Seems to be our best signing this season. Frank, welcome in. You want to eat some humble pie on the lap, do you?
Yeah, not just on the lap, but also I have to say on the R.O. Murich, because I was critical of him as well with you, and I have to say he was, in my opinion, the man of the match yesterday. So I have to eat a lot of humble pie. I normally like it with custard, but it'll do on its own because I got them both wrong. Liam Delap played pretty well again yesterday. He may not score a lot of goals, but his sheer energy is something that maybe I'd overlooked. That he's physically strong, as I've spoken about before, without going into more detail. But he's also technically pretty good as well. Will we get enough goals this season? As Matt alluded to, I'm a little bit worried about that. By the way, I have to say, Andy Molnar, great to see him for Boston, Massachusetts yesterday on the stream, because he's the guy that gives me the season tickets and get over to Ipswich. So good on him.
Andy, nice fella. Yeah,
nice guy.
I don't think I ever have, but it was great to hear his thoughts all the way from the USA. And obviously, he was on the show yesterday. We couldn't get yourself on the show. Well, you clicked the link, I don't think. But Delap had that moment where he hit the post. Great moment. You two are both concerned about the goals. Where does your concern come in about the goals then, Frank? Because I'm not yet there. Where's your concern coming in?
Okay, we look at the game yesterday. Brighton had 68.6% possession, Ipswich 31.4%. We expected that to happen. But we had one shot on target in the whole game. That was Liam Delap when he hit the post, and 4 off target. And Brighton had 6 shots on target. That's why I say that R.O. Murich was the man of the match, because without some of his spectacular saves, we were in at the deep end. So I think with McKenna too, it's a case of horses for courses. People have alluded to the fact that Luke Wolfenden was out yesterday, but I think there was good reason for that, because Dardo O'Shea, as somebody else suggested, is quicker, sharper. And I think this is what McKenna does, because if he decides 24, 48 hours before the game, right, I'm gonna tinker with the team a little bit, it fools all the opposition managers and coaching staff, because they would have expected, as we did, Luke Wolfenden to play yesterday. So it's a good tactic, I think.
Keeps your position guessing. Absolutely. Ken Tractor Boy says Tony Cascarino on TalkSport said both sides were excellent and it's saying 0-0, and Ipswich could have enough to survive as the defence was immense. It was pleasing, wasn't it? You know, I know that the lack of goals obviously concerning you both, but it was really pleasing to see a clean sheet. Not something we were overly accustomed to last season.
No. I think again, McKenna's fine-tuned things, especially against some of these attack-minded, high-quality teams in the Premier League. And Axel Tuanzebe, he's a Rolls Royce of a defender, and the whole back line played well. It wasn't just about Muric and the goalkeeper. I mean, the whole back line, there was no weakness there. Would Luke Wolfenden would he have done a good enough job? I'm not too sure, because with Rutter last time, somebody suggested he wasn't too good. I think he leaves things as they are for the next game. But then we're playing Southampton. We really have to get 3 points there, I think, to get us up and running. We've got some momentum now, 2 wins out of 2 games. First 2 we weren't expecting anything from. So really, we have to. I think another draw would be hugely disappointing if we drew last week. But Southampton haven't got off the mark yet. So it is a bit worrying, because sooner or later they will start to pick up points. They've got, as I think Steve Wilson on your live chat alluded to, they have quite a lot of quality in the team. Maybe the way they play is a big risk in the Premiership, but you could argue the way Leicester are playing is a big risk. They managed to pick up a point yesterday. We are more adaptable. Of the 3 sides that have come up, we're more adaptable, because McKenna doesn't just have one strategy for every game. He has a number of different variations on a theme, and I think that's very good.
I think Southampton fans, Martin and Frank, will be looking at Ipswich and thinking that's the game where we can get our first 3 points. So I think do you know what I mean? So I mean, I think we're both looking at the game through the same lens, albeit supporting different sides. I think both clubs are looking at that, thinking that's where we can get our first win.
And remember, Manchester United yesterday, they won it 3-0. It looked easy, but if Southampton had scored that penalty, which they should have, then the game changed. So, yeah, it is.
If the lap had nicked the post, we could have won 1-0. I mean, it's such fine lines, isn't it?
That's football, isn't it? That element of predictability.
Absolutely. Frank, have a great rest of the afternoon. Frank. Thank you for popping by. And we're going to jump now to the South Coast with with Colin on a Sun Lounger in Brighton. Hello.
Hello, Gub. How are you?
Look at this.
Not doing as well as you are, by the look of it.
Got ice cream, Colin.
Can you hear me okay, mate?
Yeah.
Loud and clear. Yeah. You've got ice cream, Matt.
Absolutely. I'll tell you my actual location, Gov. I'm right in between the pier that was burned down and Brighton Pier. And we're sitting on 2 lovely deck chairs, me and my dear wife, Phoenicia. The weather is absolutely unbelievable, and apparently it's supposed to be unbelievable all week. I'm just disappointed I haven't put that in for the week, so I could have just gone right along the coast to Southampton. Bad planning, Colin. But it is. But lovely to speak to you both, mate. And it's absolutely brilliant down here. Fantastic. Lovely place.
Colin, the signal was brilliant, and the wind obviously for those audio apologies. So very quickly, just what are your thoughts following yesterday?
Yeah, look, a totally brilliant performance by the boys. Greaves absolutely first class again. Muric, really unbelievable performance by Muric. And like Frank quite rightly said, Kieran he's got plans for each game, and I'm absolutely positive. I forecasted 14th at the start of the season. I don't think I'm going to be far out. I hope I'm not. Do I think we'll stay up? Yes, I absolutely think we'll stay up. I think January is going to be enormous. I totally agree with what Matt said. I think we'll bring a striker in January, and I think that'll be the icing on the cake to see us where we need to be. But I just don't see us going down. I think Kieran is tactically so good. I think at the end of the day, Gav and Matt, that'll be what keeps us up. Just the fact that I think arguably we've got the best British manager best British manager in this country. And and also a shout out to the fans, obviously. I mean, you've got to be in that end now to really, really hear it. It is so loud, and it's just like Manchester United. When Manchester United go away, they sing the whole 90 minutes. Man United do it all the time, as do Leeds. And Ipswich is getting very, very similar, and it does help. And I say that every week. I said, sing loud, sing proud, and they do. And they're fantastic, and I love each and every one of you. You're fantastic, and if you keep that up for the rest of the season, we will be the 12th man, and it will help that side. And I think because of that, I think you'll find yourselves, you'll be going through all these lovely grounds again next season.
Excellent. I'm going to leave it there, Colin, because the sound's not great. With the wind in people's ears, so apologies. But Colin, I love you for coming on and sitting on a sun lounger in Brighton. But if you're listening on audio, apologies on the wind.
Stone Beach, that isn't it, down there? You ever been there?
What, to Brighton?
No. I spent Millennium Eve there. When the Millennium came in, we spent it down in Brighton. Yeah, Stony Beach. I hope Colin's got a nice
in the old dome then.
The Dunkin' Donuts dome.
No, the Millennium Dome.
No, you know, when he went from 1999 to 2000.
Yeah. The year the Millennium Dome was opened.
It wasn't called that then, was it? It was called something else, I think.
Yes, it was called the Millennium Dome. Now it's the O2 Arena.
Oh, that was the original name, the Millennium Dome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would I have been in there?
Right. Well, because it's Millennium. I'd have thought that's, you being, an FA employee, you'd have been...
I wasn't then. No. Predates. But yeah, it was nice down Brighton. It was good. Same time I've ever been there.
Never been. Been to Yarmouth and Clacton plenty of times. Never been to Brighton.
Yeah. Get a good deck chair down there.
Absolutely. It's been a fantastic show. We've really chewed the fat on yesterday's performance. We had some great banter from the live chat, some great contributions from those that have clicked the link. So thank you for that. Don't forget, we are partnered with Stowmarket Osteopaths. Give Freddie a call at Stowmarket Osteopaths, 01449 613 Don't live life in pain. Give Freddie a call. I am going there tomorrow. Can't wait. Love going to see Freddie at Stowmarket Osteopaths.
Back Wednesday, Southampton.
We have got a match preview on Wednesday. Yes, we are.
Friday, AJ Dubois preview. Do you like your boxing? What's Martin done here? Martin's unplugged his microphone.
I'm back.
Unbelievable. Show Wednesday, Southampton preview. AJ Dubois preview ahead of the boxing on Saturday.
I was getting so excited there as we're talking about, the great show we've had and the week coming up that I moved my leg and it untangled the wire.
It's inside 16 shoes, isn't it?
Cable management is not my thing, but I will have to sort that out. Apologies for disappearing. I did this thing though. I wish I had gone. Like if we'd gone all together, it would have been better. But I'm sat there just like holding this wire. So when I was at the comedy film, and like, what am I supposed to do with this? Brilliant. We're done. But yes, great week coming up. Kernow says, Gov leaving Suffolk. Does he take a passport? I suppose Yarmouth and Clacton technically are leaving. That's
a little bit harsh, isn't it? Because you have been to Lanzarote in the last couple of months.
Hey, I don't mind. I don't mind. People can jibe at me all they like, Two Jags Lambert. They can jibe at me all they want. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm easy cannon fodder. I'm happy. As long as you're watching, as long as you're liking, I'm happy. But join the conversation over on Discord.
Like and subscribe.
All that jazz. And don't live life in pain. Go and see Freddie at Stowmarket Osteopaths. So we're done with Dusted. That's been the Phillips, Matthew Phillips. I've been the Gov. Thank you for watching. Join us on Wednesday, 8 p.m. for our match preview. Have a fantastic week. Tanner on 2 points. Southampton up next. Game is getting bigger and bigger as they go on from here. Enjoy. You make me smile when I think of you. If I get down or when I am blue, I can't get enough. Oh, yes, love. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. Oh, yes, love. Oh, yes, love. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I thought went crazy from just the thought of you.